I want to ask you about the governor's comments on education, keeping SEEK funded, but cutting administrative costs, administrative salaries, and maybe transportation. How does that, what's your reaction to that, those comments on education?
Well, I do think it keeps with his commitment to keeping dollars in the classroom, and I think that's important to do that. Without seeing the exact breakdown of how those administrative costs would be affected, I'd be afraid to speculate too much.
Mr. President?
We don't have a lot of the details. We got a very 10,000-foot view of this. But one thing the governor or the governor's staff told us that we need to look at administration, because they had researched this, and several central office staffs were running anywhere from 30 to 40% of their payroll, and that we needed to look at more of a 15% range, that many were in that range. And so they needed to look at these top-heavy institutions. We don't know what they are or where they are, but I can agree with that, because the dollars need to be in the classroom, not in a central office. Again, we don't know a lot of the details as to what he is doing or proposing on transportation. So we will learn more tomorrow as we get a full copy of the bill.
Can either of you elaborate on the 70 programs that are being eliminated? Do you know which ones they might be, or any that they might be?
We have not seen any of those programs specifically. Only have heard the term 70, as you all have. Cannot speculate on what those are. I will say, however, that I think it's, without commenting on any specific program, I think it is a positive step that we are targeting where these reductions will be, as opposed to just broad brush across the board cuts.
And we just kind of know the parameters. They've told us the parameters that, look, we think that either we were not getting our bang for the buck, or these programs, people didn't know why they were instituted some 20 and 30 years ago, or they do not have significance. But as to the individual 70 items, we have not seen them yet.
Some will say early in his speech he spoke of giving more money to bring in the quality of employees that the state needs. And then later in the speech he talks about trimming the administrative overhead. And some will question whether trimming the administrative overhead will cut down on the kinds of quality administrators you have in schools. What will you say to those people?
I don't know if it cuts down on the quality. It may cut down on the number. And I think that's what he is looking at, from what I can understand. And again, we haven't seen the details. But do you need 30% of your payroll in administrative costs?